Why ride around on a four-legged creature when you can have a mechanical hand? Hello right bags, it's Jade, welcome to a Biomutant guide today. I'm going to show you about mounts in the game. I'm going to show you some of the ones that you can find just roaming around the world, some that attach to side missions and some that attach to main quests. There will be mild spoilers in prepping for some of the world bosses, but I'm not going to show any of the actual world bosses themselves, just how you get some of these mounts and amazing things that you can ride around. So how to find them, how to tame them, the differences in the world, and whether or not they're worth your time. Don't forget to like if you find this video useful, and let's talk about mounts in Biomutant. Now the first few hours of the game are pretty tutorial led, and you don't really get to see many mounts out in the world unless you really rush things. There are mounts pretty much everywhere. In every biome there's a particular type, and then you've got variations with different colours and different themes. I'm slightly to the southeast on the islands, just past the Netra outposts, and this is one of the first ones. This shows you how to get them. You need to get one of them seeds underneath them brown bushes. You'll find these brown bushes pretty much close to wherever you find a flock of these tames, and you simply have to dive underneath it the right way, pick up the seed, and then press the triangle button to tame the creature, and then it's yours. You can ride around on it, you can run quicker. They don't necessarily have any combat moves, but they do have a little dodge and they can jump. They can also swim, but it does use up your energy, your chi. So if it drowns, you will drown also if you're still on it. So mounts don't actually die. I mean, they may look like they're drowning, but they will respawn, and you can simply call them forth whenever you want. You can have one mount attached to your hotbar. By pressing pretty much down on the D-pad, you can summon creatures or any other mechanical items you've got. Now if it seems too much bother actually going and finding them and getting the nuts, well, if you've got enough of the green leaf currency, you can go and buy them. You'll find pretty much one at every single outpost that you liberate. Most of them are called Gnuts, and this one's the Dura Pelago one. For someone with not a lot of currency, this is pretty expensive, so you may want to go looking around for some. Once I've found every single type, I will do just a pure locations video for all of them, but this one's more just to explain about the mounts and different types. If you tame another mount, it will immediately just go away the one that you already tamed, and your new mount will be the one that always gets called. If you want to change that, you just need to go into the options in the menus and you can switch out which mount is summoned. Now I'm to the east of the Tree of Life to meet Noko, who's going to take me through how to get a very special tame that you need to take on the Eastern World Eater. Now this isn't a step-by-step little guide, but I'm just going to take you through the brief cliff notes. She pretty much says you need to go and find a special tame that's going to be strong enough, and you can put a saddle on to help you pull down walls and certain things. On the way you'll come across these guys, and these are some of my favourites. You can see I've listed, shown the location just here, and yeah, I really like look at these ones, like some red-horned devil goats. In fact, this mission pretty much takes you through a chance to get 3 different mounts. One of them's a side mission or part of the main mission, but it doesn't get used for anything else. Then the main creature, which you can keep and use over and over again. And then these guys. They don't have to worry too much about any special gear around these areas. There's no sort of extra biome zones or hot areas, so you should be able to come and get some of these mounts no problem. One thing I did notice that sometimes, even though I'd built up a supply of the berries or the nuts, I had to go and get one from that area to actually work on some of them. So it does look like some creatures only prefer certain fruits or nuts. And again, as usual, at villages and towns, you can also normally buy some of these creatures too. But back to what we was doing. You'll eventually get signposted to go and check out this guy, the Majut. He is pretty strong, pretty powerful, and he's got some big chin on him. Once he likes you, he'll pretty much follow you out, and you only got to contend with a little bit of a boss fight. A mini boss fight, a flat. Now these can be pretty tough, and if you're underleveled then you may have a bit of an issue, but he will kind of help out a little bit, just keep him at range while Majut does a few little kicks here and there. It's a 3-stage process this, so it does take a bit of time to go and get ready, and you're pretty much prepping for the boss fight. When you get back to Noko, she's going to tell you now you need a distraction tool, something like some butterflies, and you need to go and find them. And then when you've done that, she also then says you need a special saddle. Now you can see we took a tumble, don't worry, your creatures don't lose any health, nor do you, they just simply lose a bit of pride at landing on their faces. Now, as I said, you can run around with these guys. You can't attack directly while using them, not that I've found anyway, and they're good obviously for range characters. You can't use any of your psi abilities or mutant abilities while on horseback, which is a bit of a shame. Like I said, I'm being a bit loose and direct with some of these locations because it's really just to highlight what you can find. But this one takes you to this area here, Shopperino Market, and you're going to discover the metal or clockwork horse. There's a lot of loot here and there's a few puzzles you need to solve, but main point is to get power to this garage door to open it up. For the puzzles that are here, you probably need about 5 or 6, so 50 or 60 intellect to do some of these puzzles. If you don't know by now, also, if you don't have enough intellect points, you can fade it a good 2 or 3 times, and it sometimes makes it easier for you to do on the next try. So don't worry too much if your intellect points aren't up to scratch. Go back upstairs and making sure you got the Biomutant point that's in this area too, and there you go, we've got our clockwork horse. But it's not finished. Again, there's another little puzzle. Again, it's super simple, just matching obviously white to white, then gold to gold, white to white, so the colours match. So apart from a couple very specific ones that you need, I was actually a bit disappointed that some of these mounts don't actually give you any extra bonuses or buffs. I can't say I've noticed any difference in speed or being able to jump further or have any attacks. It doesn't matter. Any of the wild ones that you find, they're pretty much all the same in terms of speed. Maybe there is like a minute difference, but I really couldn't tell using some of these other ones. So once you've got the saddle, you've got the butterflies, you've now got the Majut to go and take on the World Eater. That's not going to be in this video, I don't want to spoil it, that's coming in a separate video that I've shown you guys hopefully by now. But just to show you the mechanic, what you need this creature for, it's pulling these canyon walls, and there's quite a lot of them in that region that you're meant to take down to get loads of loot, as well as help you with the boss fight. But on the way to the sort of northeastern realm, you'll find even more notes hiding around in this biome. But be careful, don't get off anyone that involve a quest, because you're going to have to then summon it back forth as it does disappear even if you jump on another one. As said as well, all these mounts you do keep forever, and you can find a bunch of them to buy once you get loads of actual green currency easily at any of the outposts or some villages. Just use the summon function to summon that one that you want. Another cool one I really liked was this guy, a big purple elk. This is sort of to the northwest, I would say, and yeah, pretty much in these deep forest, deep jungle areas. He's pretty cool, he's got some really nice colours, and again you can get variations of him with slightly different colours in some of the areas or villages around. One aspect I'm saying not to worry too much about where they are is because you do find that even in different areas completely, you'll find some of the older ones you've seen, like the really raggedy long-nosed notes too. And you can find them pretty close to the Tree of Life, just hanging around in some of these little valleys as well. They're pretty much everywhere. Now, right to the northwest, it's where it's really hot. Now, this zone, you are going to need some heat protection if you want to actually go through this whole biome. I really like these guys. Big, ready, pink, massive rhino sort of horses. Now I do know there is a special bat or moth that you can get hold of, but that's going to be coming in a separate video as I've not found it in 30 hours of playing just yet, so I'll show up with that soon. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is that Clockwork Hand, and it's towards the steps to take on the northwestern World Eater. The mission is going over to the Tinker Tonka or Wiz, and he's going to basically task you with building the Octopod, which is another vehicle you're going to need to take on the World Eater. Just show you guys on the map exactly where it is from the Tree of Life and see how far I've gone and roamed. Again, I'm not really going to go too deep showing you guys some of the boss fights and stuff in this video, but he needs your help preparing the Octopod, and he actually just needs a hand unloosening some nuts. It's a bit weird, and the pacing of getting some of these items or special mounts is kind of always directing you towards like the end game, but then you always use another different mount or something different to take on the actual enemy. It's a bit odd, but anyhow, follow the mission steps and it will eventually guide you to the Mecha Stadium. After a good bit of exploring, again you're going to have to do one of these puzzles. Now this one is a bit tougher, you definitely probably are going to need at least 60 in intellect points to actually do it. And there's a couple of these puzzles. This is where I discovered that actually failing it a couple times, it does make it easier for you the next go. Once done, you've then got access to the Clockwork Hand, and it is pretty great. Now you can use this all the time, whereas some machinery items, like the actual proper mech suit, you can only use in certain zones. Now it says here that your intellect needs to be 90 or over 91 to actually do this, but I reckon as long as you fail it a couple times you should be okay. But by this point you probably have put a few points in. So yeah, you've got to solve the puzzle just like you did with the saddle on the other mech horse earlier. These are always different, slightly different or random each time you go and try one of these out, so there's no point in me telling you exactly how or which way to spin them. But eventually you'll get there and you're good to go. Your mechanical hand with a big massive cannon is ready. To give him his proper name, the Mecha Finger. So it's slightly mobile, you can jump around and do stuff with it, but obviously when you hold the LT button or L2 button, that's when you can aim with the finger and let rip with the cannon. It doesn't protect you against any of the elemental zones that you'll come across, but it is pretty good, as I said, for taking out some of the shielded enemies that you're going to come across a bit later on. Bring him back to obviously Wiz, and then he'll take you through the next steps to start up and get the Octopod ready. That is coming along with the mech suit in a separate video, so make sure you check out that. That's very soon. I hope you've enjoyed this, you found it useful, and I'll see you rat bags very soon. Bye bye.